You don't resent it?
The visor or being blind?
Either.
No, since they're both a part of me and I really like who I am, there's no reason for...
I have some excellent facts about the Star Trek The Next Generation episode, Loud as a Whisper from Season 2. But before we get to the facts, I want to say thanks to all of those exciting citizens who voted in my poll about Season 1. The winning consensus, with 38%, was that The Next Generation Season 1 is top quality, whereas the season being just bad got a losing 6%. Take a look at the new poll I put up about Series 2 today, thanks. Now in this episode, an exciting B-plot in it is that Dr. Pulaski is trying to persuade Geordi to undergo a special procedure to restore his missing eyesight. This was inspired by a real-life situation where Dr. Pulaski actress was attacked by a blind and savage dog while walking alone one night at Skid Row. The poor hound clearly thought that the actress was there to do him harm, and so she paid for the animal to get special eye surgery on his face and legs. She expressed this situation on the screen with Geordi, who, unlike the mad dog, didn't really need eye surgery, as he was quite happy with his futuristic visor. It was during the filming of this episode that Will Wheaton possibly lost his planchet somehow on the set and got visibly upset, but this was understandable as he was still a child actor. The actor's on-screen stepmother, Dr. Pulaski, would stroke the actor's hair to calm him down, while all of the cast and crew scrambled to find the missing planchet, if only to stop Wesley's Weasley crying. Eventually, Jonathan Frakes found the planchet down the back of a panel in sick bay, only now it was small and sticky. As soon as Frakes revealed he had the planchet, Wheaton wiped away his crucid tears and got on with his impressive acting.
Is what's important.
Fourth actor Michael Dorn gave an eye-opening interview on Seattle Today and explained quite incorrectly that nobody else on the set knew what he looked like.
No, actually, people that I work with for 14 hours a day have no idea what I look like.
He's usually seen in uniform and under Klingon alien makeup. What he didn't realise, though, was that they actually did know what he looked like, as they'd met him several times before for script readings each week, as well as at social gatherings, and also all the time after he takes the makeup off. It's lies like this that can really besmirch a person's character. Did you ever notice upon close inspection that William Riker in Series 2 has a beard, but in Series 1 his face was as fresh as a spinning owl? That's because during the filming of Season 1, Jonathan Frakes found that women were attracted to his smooth face and would constantly find reasons to touch his cheeks with their hands and lips. Most men would be flattered, but when each woman would touch his face several times a day, he decided that enough was enough. The next step was to get the writer's permission to write scripts for a bearded Riker for Series 2 and not a smooth-faced Riker. At first, the writers found it quite a challenge to write dialogue for a bearded Riker, but they soon got accustomed to it, like penguins standing on a plate. The episode name is Loud as a Whisper, but did you even know that there were some preliminary names for the episode, which crossed the writer's desk? The first draft of the script was titled The Dream Artist. Rick Berman turned down this name and demanded alternatives. The other episode names in contention were The Amazing Contributor, Robed Reaver, Robed Gibson, The Kiss of a Cup, Dream Kisser, The Cruel Lizard, Star Negotiator, Loud as a Song, and The Song of a Rodent. But eventually they went with Loud as a Whisper, and that's what the episode's called if you have a look. Now, it was around this time that the famous war between Star Trek and its science fiction rival, Short Circuit 2, was really heating up. During filming of some of Short Circuit 2's early scenes, The actors were seen mocking the crew of the Enterprise, as seen in the outtakes on the Short Circuit 2 DVD. Actor Fisher Stevens is seen putting hands on top of his head, making him look bald, while shouting, "Make it so," at his co-actor. The other actor in the scene is seen laughing at Fisher and responds, "Beam me up." Allegedly, after the cameras went off here, Fisher told his co-actor that he should rub a lump of shit on his forehead to make him look like a Klingon. Jeeb Rustenstack was the original actor for the character of Reaver, the ear-disabled diplomat and negotiator. He was warmly welcomed by the cast and crew to the auditions, but didn't make it to the screen as he had a peculiar accident. During the first day of auditioning, he tried on the long robes of his character Reaver, but there was a problem with the length of the robe's cloak. It had accidentally been manufactured using Hollywood inches, which are 80% bigger than regular inches. He tried to walk backwards, but slipped on a fabric and toppled backwards, hitting his head on an Enterprise bulkhead. Confused and disorientated, Jeeb stumbled out of the studio in the middle of the road, where he was struck by a speeding bus, which ripped his arm off, sending it to the side of the road, where it rolled in dirt and dust and was taken away quickly by coyotes before the emergency services could retrieve it. The role would go on to be played by second-choice actor Howard Seago, who went on to do a fine job of bringing the character of Reaver to life on the silver screen, and plus he had the benefit of having two arms. Actor Green Orange, who played one of Reaver's interpreters, nearly didn't get the part. Initially, he was turned down from his audition due to his awful acting, but would respond by weeping ever so gracefully. As Rick Berman looked on, the actor sank to his knees after being rejected, and laid his small hands on his cheeks, while tears gracefully fell from his somber eyes, his throat mewing like an innocent and naive young animal. Taken aback by this display of absolute misery, Rick was possibly recorded whispering to his colleague, "Get this whimpering flower sucker out of my sight, and give him that damned part in my show." Rick Berman apparently has close friends and relatives.
And I have some relatives and close friends.
Let's hear it for our Rick, the data robot of the show, Data. His real actor, Spiner, turned 21 while the episode was being produced. His parents visited from their soapy home in Utah, bringing him birthday cake and his first beer. After having only 3 beers with his father at lunchtime, he allegedly came back to the set with a dizzy brain and twirling eyes. Barely able to stand, this is why the data robot is barely in this episode. Most of the footage had to be cut as it was completely useless, like an egg. This is the episode that nearly got Star Trek cancelled in Vietnam. Vietnam's Board of TV Censorship did not agree with their overly generous footage of Councillor Troy in this week's episode. In fact, during most of the running time of the 44 minutes, Marina Sirtis is on screen and yapping for over 38 minutes. Whereas most of the world could cope with this misguided emphasis on Rick Berman's favourite, the Vietnamese Institute put their foot down and warned Paramount that this must never ever happen again, otherwise Star Trek would never be shown in their great country. Incidentally, it was Vietnam where I bought a box of complete Next Generation DVDs in 2005 for $35. Most of the DVDs worked, but had subtitles that couldn't be turned off, and the back of the box had a synopsis for Season 2, disregarding the other 6, like last week's cheese. Thanks ever so much for listening to my interesting facts about Star Trek Next Generation Series 2. As we hurtle towards some more episodes, this one finishes here. So hit that subscribe button if you want to hear some more very interesting facts, and I'll see you next time. All the best. Ta-ta!